Hey, what's up? Welcome back to CSS 3 in 30 days. This is day number 6 called Print Specific Styles. Jump over here in my browser. Print Specific Styles, what we're going to be doing is creating a print specific style sheet using media queries in CSS so that when you hit print in your browser, when you print a web page, you can do that. You can actually style the print style sheet so that when you are printing out like a graphic heavy or a colorful, web page like this one, for example, you don't get all of the colors and all the backgrounds and the borders and all of the web specific styles. You don't want to see that on a piece of paper because it won't show up or you'll waste a ton of ink. So you can style that print specific style sheet so that it looks great. So let me show you the example. So here is print specific styles. If I go ahead and hit Command P to print this, you can see the preview. Look at how nice that looks. It's all black and white. There's no backgrounds, there's no colors or images. We got a little bit of color here on the links, but check this out as well. So all the things like the graphics and the 3D text and all that stuff, that's gone, and it's replaced with something very minimal and readable. And things like the rotations on the heading, that's fixed. That's all straightened out. And check this out. Right after a link, it actually shows the URL because on the web, you can say, click this link and have it be linked up in HTML, and you don't have to see the URL. You just click it because it's interactive. But on a piece of paper, it's not interactive. You can't click it. You need to know what the URL is. So you can actually display that, and I'll show you how to do that in a moment. So very, very simple. It's just a single page, and you could print that out, and it would actually look quite nice. So why don't we jump in and do that? Head over here to your code editor. I'm using Atom, and I opened up my number 6 print styles. It has the index, sandbox, and final CSS for your reference and enjoyment. Go ahead and download those print styles, the course files for today. That is in this module. You can go ahead, click that module lesson. You just get the idea by now. You should know how to do that. So number 6, print styles. We're going to jump straight into the sandbox and start coding it up. This is going to be a pretty straightforward lesson, so let's go ahead and do that. So first thing you need to do is you need to do a media query. And when you're doing media queries, you can do things like screen and max width 900 pixels. That's going to style screens like your iPhone or your computer at a max width of 900 pixels. So this is how you do like a media query for responsive styles, but we're not doing responsive styles. We're actually doing media print. So you can do a print style sheet. So we're going to style everything within these parentheses here. So let's go ahead and first things first, let's hide some unwanted elements. And I'm just going to bang through them here. So we're going to hide course files is the button that says download course files, the big blue button. We're going to hide that. I'm going to go comma. What else am I going to hide? We're going to hide the logo, which is in the footer. We're going to hide the sandbox before. So now, I'll show you what I'm doing here. If I go to the index file, I'm hiding the course files because I don't want to see that. You're not going to need to click that on a piece of paper. The things like let me find it here. Sandbox. Actually, the sandbox isn't even in this specific lesson. We're just using final. So final dash result before. So if I go to my index here, the final result, we're actually styling something in the theme styles called before. So if I go over here to my browser and show you, how we did this 3D sort of effect here? If I inspect this and show you, basically, this is what that looks like here. We got final result before. So we styled that to have that, sort of 3D element. We don't want to see that in a print style sheet. So I'm hiding that. So go back to CSS. So final result before, we're also going to copy that, another comma, and info before, because we did the same effect there. And final result after, we also have that same style going on there, the after, pseudo element, and info after. What else do we have here? I believe we're going to hide the images. I don't want to see any images. And I'm just going to say display none. All gone, just like that. Now, basically, maybe let's go check it out. Print All right, so everything is showing up for me because what's happening is we're hooking in the final.css, but we're trying to style the sandbox. So here, go back to our code editor here. In your index, if you want to hide the final result, all you're gonna have to do here is final project CSS, use for reference. Just comment that out if you want to hide the print styles. So let me even just put a comment here. So yeah, comment this out if you want to hide the final styles. So now let's go back to our browser. If I hit refresh and then print, Command P, I will see, there we go. So everything's still kind of styled in a basic way there. Some browsers will automatically remove things like backgrounds. If I go to more settings, I can I can adjust the margins. I can leave the headers and the backgrounds and the graphics. So if I left that in, basically it's just styling the web page, as you can see that. So let's go back here to our code editor in Sandbox. Let's continue. And now let's do I'm going to call this the global typography reset and make a comment there. Okay, and now in the global typography reset, what we're going to do is we're just going to select body and we're going to say font family. I want to make it Georgia. Georgia and serif is, people like reading serif. Typically on paper, you read serif typefaces, like in books. Whereas on the web, sans serif is a pretty good font. I mean, obviously there's no hard and fast rules, but serif fonts are nice to read on paper. So Georgia is a good one. Font size, we're going to say 16 point, which is kind of more of a print-based measurement instead of pixels, because we're not really using pixels on paper. There's no pixels on paper, so we're going to use points. Line height, we're going to say 24 points. Background, no backgrounds, and then the color straight up flat black. I'm going to save that. Let's keep going before we view it. Let's do a layout reset. And I'm going to say final result, info. These are all classes, by the way, class info, and then section, HTML5 element, and footer. We're going to say width 100% because they have specific widths currently. Border, no borders. Padding 0, margin 0, and color 000 as well because some of those elements have different colors. So save that. Now let's view it and see what it looks like. Refresh, Command P to view. All right. So you could see that we're getting there. It's pretty messy. I mean, if I use the default settings here and I just turned off background graphics, then you can kind of see that it's already looking okay. But let's leave that on so that we have to override it. All right, let's keep going. Let's go down to the, keep going into section, the layout reset here. We're going to say section, first child before. That is the top border on the in the section that says instructions. I want to hide that. I'm going to say border none, save that. And now let me save that and check it out in the browser. Let me see what we have so far. See if we're missing any sort of global styling. Okay, so I don't want any backgrounds. You know, this stuff is hard to see. I don't want to see that big logo up at the top. I don't want any of these backgrounds. So let's go back to the code editor and remove the backgrounds in these sections and remove this background logo. So I want to hide this. I believe it's in body and before. So body before, we want to remove that element altogether. And what do we have? The backgrounds and final result. Yeah, backgrounds and sandbox final result info. So go back here. In layout reset, I want to add background none. And in fact, background none is in there as well. Great. So now body, right after the global typography reset, I'm actually just going to change this to say global reset. And then body, pseudo element before, display none. And let's actually move body before up to the hide unwanted elements. So we don't even, let's just do it right at the very top. Body before, comma. Save that. Now let's see, hit print. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. What else do I want to hide? I want to hide these tabs. I don't want these tabs here. So what are those? Those are final result. I believe those are H2s. So we got body, final result, H2. Yes. I don't actually want to see those. Let's hide that as well. So let's go final result H2 and info H2. Save that. That should solve the problem. Let's have a look. There we go. Those are gone. So we're getting there. You start to see that this is looking a little bit more like it needs to. Not perfect, but let's keep going. Okay, down to the bottom. Oh, we've already done that. Now let's do some specifics. So I'm going to say specifics. And we're going to say H1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we're going to straight up say color 000 to override any styles there. Font size 24 points. Line height, give it some line height of 30 points. And margin, no margins. And now let's do even more specific. We're going to say H1. We're going to style that one to be font size 50 points. Margin 00, 20 points. Text align center. Width 100%. Transform, rotate 0 because it's currently on a rotate and we don't want to see that. And then let's style the small H1 small tag within there. We're going to say font size 24 points. We're going to say color 888, a little bit lighter than black. Margin 00, 10 points. Okay, and let's save that and check it out one more time over here. Refresh, hit print. What do we got? Looking better already. Day 6 print specific styles. The small is right there. This is large. They got margins at center. Beauty, beauty, beauty. All right, now what do we got? So let's go back here to the style sheet, sandbox. Right after H1 small, let's go ahead and select the A link. We want these links to have no margins. And let's do A after pseudo element. This is where we're going to add the text of the URL. So this is how we do that. We say content, and then we open some strings here. And in that first set of strings, a space and then a square, open square bracket. Outside of the string, attribute, we're going to select the href, and then a space after that, open and close another set of strings, and then close the square bracket, and then close with a semicolon. And then let's just do one last thing here. We're going to say footer A link and footer A visited. We're going to go color 000. And then background, none, save that. Let's go over here, refresh, hit print, see what we've got. This is looking pretty good. I see that there's some weird padding around this link, and I know that we had padding because we had those little pop-up boxes in the footer, and this text is too gray. I want it to not be gray. I want it to be black. So let's go here. We're going to say padding 0. In fact, in all the links, we're just going to say padding 0. Maybe that will solve the problem. Then I want the text within all of these sections. Color 0. I'm just going to say important on that to override any styles. Let's see what we've got. Refresh, print. Okay, so the padding on the links didn't change and that didn't change. All right, let's find out why. So I'm going to select this, inspect it, and I'm going to, what do we got? Footer A link, padding. So I'm going to have to be more specific there. Yep. And this text, why is it not overriding? Info P. Okay, go back over here. I'm going to actually change this, remove that, and I'm going to say down here under H1 small, I'm going to say info P. And I'm going to say color 000. And this should be padding 0. And A link doesn't need padding. That should do it. Save, head over to the browser, do a refresh and a print. And we should have our final print specific style. So now if I change here in the settings and do backgrounds or graphics, it should really just, all it's modifying is the day number 6. It wants it to be darker, which is fair. In fact, why don't we just change that right now? Let's go H1 small. Let's just change this to 000, and that should do it. Back to the browser, refresh, print, And there we go. We've got our print specific style sheet. If I change these settings now, it really shouldn't do anything at all. Beautiful. Those are the print specific styles. Great work. Now what you can do is you can take these styles, add them to your own websites, your own blogs, applications, client sites, whatever it is, and just go to any random page and hit Command P and go to print it out and see what the preview looks like. And you can see if they have a style sheet for print or not. And on your own websites, you can go ahead and add some print style sheets so that if for some crazy reason your grandfather wants to print out your website, he'll be able to read it properly on his good old-fashioned piece of paper.